Okay, let's look at these ellipse questions you sent. So the first one is just on the formula right here where they give you the A and the C value and they want you to find the B value. So you just have to be a little careful here. If you're looking at your formula, you'll notice that A needs to be larger than B. So that kind of helps you out in case you make a little mistake with your arithmetic. But let's go ahead and plug it in and see what we get. So let's see, for C, we're going to have a 5. So 5 squared equals A squared, which is 13, then minus B squared. So from here, let's see, we're going to get 25 equals 169 minus B squared. Then we'll subtract 169 from both sides. And we get negative 144 equals negative B squared. And then to cause a sign change, you can multiply or divide by negative 1. That'll cause a sign change for me. So I end up with 144 equals B squared. And then we'll go ahead and square root both sides. And we get that B should be 12, which once again, just want to double check. Yeah, the A value needs to be greater than the B value, so I'm good. Okay, let's see. The next one was question number 6. So I found a similar one here for us to work, so you can go back and try this one again. Um, so what you'll notice is that the denominator under your x value here is larger, so you know that your major axis is going to be parallel with the x-axis. And so what I know from this is I know my A value is going to be 5. I know my B value is going to be 4. And so um, then I also know that the center is going to be at -2, or I'm sorry, I'm looking at the one that I'm going to let you do. It's going to be -5, 4. So that's my center for this one right here. So let's see, -5 and then up 4 would be about right here. And then the major axis is 2a. The length of it is 2a. So really I just have to go 5 to the right and 5 to the left, and that will find my vertices right there. So one vertex is at 0, 4, and then the other one is going to be at -10, 4. And then if you wanted to find the foci, you'd have to find your C value and then just add and subtract that from your X value from your center. And that would get you that. So, all right, let's see. Our next one, kind of the same thing, except it's kind of a mess, right? It's a little messy here. And so once again, you have one up here, and I'm going to work number 5 though. And so they want the vertices again. So if I can just clean it up, I could probably get that information. I know you'd mentioned completing the square. Maybe there was a mistake there. And so just have to be careful. Um, so what I'm going to do is I just kind of like to organize this a little bit. So I'm going to have x squared plus 2x plus blank. Then I'm going to have plus 9y squared minus 18y plus blank. And then I'm going to have that plus 1 and then equals 0. Now, I kind of ran out of room there, but you have to be careful because whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other, or you have to somehow nullify um, what you introduce here. So on the first one right here, you take half of this and square it, which would be a 1. So if I add 1 here, I can add 1 to the other side if I want, or I need to subtract 1 from my current side. I'm just going to go ahead and add 1 to the other side also. But there's a couple different ways you could kind of approach this. And so this first one right here, this is going to factor into x plus 1, plus 1 squared. And then with the y's, I actually have to do something here a little tricky, and this is where the completing the square process can get a little out of whack. I need to first start out by factoring out that 9. And so that's going to leave me with y squared minus 2y. And I still have that plus blank here. And then I still have that plus 1. I'll deal with that later. And then I have a 1 on the right side right there. Now, this is where things can get a little tricky and students can get thrown off. I still do half a -2, which is -1, and square it and put a plus 1. So if I add 1 here, I have to subtract 1 over here, right? Oh, yeah. or I'm sorry, if I add one to this side, I got to add one to the other side, right? But what's going on here is I'm not actually, that's not really a one because it's in the parentheses of a product that would occur, that nine being, we don't want to distribute that nine, but if it were to be distributed, that one that I'm introducing is really a plus nine. So then I need to add nine to my other side also, right? What I do to one side, I do to the other side. And so now I can factor this. So I still have this x plus 1 squared plus 9, and then this will get cleaned up into y minus 1 squared. And then I still have that plus 1 over there that I'll deal with in a second. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. And then I'm almost there. I need to subtract 1 from both sides because I want to isolate the, the squared binomials right here. And so let's see, let me give myself a little bit more room. So let's see, we're going to still have this x plus 1 squared plus 9 times y minus 1 squared, and then equals, this will be a 9 over here. Then last but not least, I need that to be a 1, so I'm going to have to divide everything by 9. And so here, let's see, I end up with x plus 1 squared over 9 plus, and then over here, um, the nines are going to cancel out, but what I want to do just to kind of make a point, I don't have to write this as a fraction, but I'm going to go ahead and write that over 1, and that'll just kind of help me when I start to extract my information. And then right here, 9 divided by 9 is 1 right there. So what do I know from this? Well, I know my A value would be a 3 and my B value would be a 1. Okay, because 3 squared is 9 and 1 squared is 1. And so once again, my major axes on this will be the x-axis again. And so be careful because that might not be the case on your example up here. I'm not sure. But either way, let's see, what else can I get from this? Well, I know the center the center of this particular one is at negative 1, 1. Okay, that's where the center is. And then let's see, I know that A is 3, so that should be enough information in order to figure out where those um, vertices are at. So my center is at negative 1, up 1, which would be right here. And then my A value is 3, so I'd go 3 in each direction. So 1, 2, 3, and back 1, 2, 3. Those would be my vertices. So I'd have one at 2, 1, and I'd have the other one at negative 4, 1. And so anyway, so that was for example 5 right there. Um, so let me know if it's still giving you trouble. Then, I don't mind working out um, the one from the homework. I just wanted to give you another chance before we do that. Your other questions were on the word problems. I have videos already made for those, so I'm going to go ahead and send you those videos also because those are popular questions that students will send me, and so I've already made a video on those. So I will send those out to you. And then you were asking about the review homework checks. That's just the homework that is in D2L. You can go back and review those after you've completed them, just to kind of prepare for the exam, because the exam will look a lot like the homework. And then there's also some extra practice from the notes. There's practice problems in the notes. Let me pull that up. Okay, so here's kind of the outline study guide. And so it says review the homework checks. So, like I said, that's just the stuff that's in D2L. Like I said, the formatting should be pretty similar, but if you also want to get some extra practice, and I would recommend looking at this stuff right here. So trig equations, part 1 homework, and part 2. This is actually from the textbook. Now, in the text, it's actually all one section of homework, so, but it's just kind of divided up to where if you needed help, you could figure out what part it's from, part 1 or part 2. But anyways, these questions right here, let me pull it up, the textbook. So right here, there's the trigonometric equations homework. So it's referring to these questions here. And so to get a little extra practice, you might want to check those out too. And then there's the answers down here. And if you're having any trouble with those, feel free to send me those also, and we can work some of them out if you need to. But anyways, if you need anything else, you know where to find me.